How's it going, Scrub Gamers? Welcome back to another video here at ScrubGames, and once again we're back with another of my Deck of the Week video, where I go over the deck that I feel has been a good shot and I've been having a lot of fun with or enjoying for the week, and this one is Yoda Command. So if you're interested in Yoda Command, which is the deck I took to my locals and spread about on my channel, then stay tuned and check it out. And also don't forget that you can like, comment and subscribe to keep updated with my channel. And also that you can click the notification bell to get alerts when my videos do drop, so you can then watch them there and then, or at a later time that benefits you. So with that out of the way, let's go ahead and check out my Yoda Command list. So with locals this week, I was stuck for what I wanted to take, as for this month we haven't really got any big events. We've got, I think there's might be some store showdowns, but not many, or the one that was going to happen on the Saturday didn't end up firing, so it's gone into New Year. But at the moment, there's nothing really in terms of like big events, so we've just got locals. So it means we can do some testing and play some fun decks while we wait for the next year to roll around when we start the planetary qualifier season in January. So I had a few decks I want to try out, so I put up a vote on my YouTube that most likely you saw if you're watching this, that vote from a deck, and it's between Nalase with the new rare base, the droid manufacturer. There was Yoda with a fairy health base, and the other options were Mace Windu going with a blue fairy health base, and then Azaz Ventress with a red base to give like some different options, different aspects, different color aspect combinations anyway, and to try out some different things I haven't really tried yet. And the one that won with a whopping 46%, I think it was, of the vote was Yoda, so I ended up taking him, and I had a lot of fun with him as well, because I ended up placing second in overall, only losing in the last round to the overall winner, and it was a lot of fun going 3-1 and getting to see how like put that testing of Yoda on Carabas into actual into a good result at locals as well. So first off, we're going to start with the leader. So this is what leader is. Yoda, he's a very high deploy leader because he deploys at 7, so one of the latest, only beaten by Palpatine. And as well, he's got some pretty solid stats. 4-9 is very respectable. 9 health is a huge amount of health, and 4 power is very, very good. He also has Restore 2 when he's deployed, so when he's swinging, he's healing your base as well, and he provides you with the Force, Jedi, and Republic traits, which are nice and beneficial. And as well, he's got some really nice effects. He's got a when deployed. So all he's got when he's deployed is a effect that triggers when he does deploy. So after that, he's then just restored to a leader with a good amount of bulk. And on the front side, he has a nice way of going through your deck and kind of fixing your hand and kind of digging through deeper for what you want. So when he's in the leader area, his effect is an action, so you need to take an action for this, and it is required to tap him. And if a unit left place, it could be either your unit or your opponent's unit being defeated or bounced back to hand, then you get to draw a card, and then put a card from your hand either on top of the deck or on the bottom of your deck, your choice. So it means you can, if you want to draw that card again, you can put it on top of your deck, so you can draw it when you go into the end of the turn, and during the resupply phase, you go ahead and draw the cards. Or you can put it on the bottom decks, and then you won't see it until at the end of the game, or potentially never see it again. But it's a nice way. The setup is when deployed. Set up other cards as well, which are really nice, and also just filter for your deck and find what you're looking for, so you can kind of dig a little bit deeper with this, which is really cool. And his effect when he does deploy is you get to discard a card from your deck. So when I first read this, when it reveals stuff, oh, that's amazing, you can pick a card because it's saying discard a card from your deck, and you can pick any card from your deck and discard it, but nope, that's not actually the point. The actual effect is basically discard the top card of your deck, which probably would have been a bit clearer. And then if you do that, because you don't have to, you may discard, so you can discard the top card of your deck. But if you do, you can defeat any enemy non-leader unit that has a cost that's the same as or less than discarded card. Which means if you put on the top of your deck using his leader effect in the leader area, a big high-costing card, it means when he deploys, he can hit something potentially, say you put 8 drop on top of your deck. When he deploys, you can mill the 8 drop, and then you can kill anything that's costs 8 or less on your opponent's board, which is very, very cool. So it means it gives him some good removal. You can take out leaders, which would be busted if you could, because that would be insane. Your opponent deploys your leader, their leader, you deploy yours, pop theirs. But you can defeat almost anything, and in any color, there's quite high costing cards. You can even put some cards, like in this aspect combination. I think the highest thing you've got in blue is a 9 drop. I think correct. No, you've got a you've got the event card that's like 14. It's like you can put in your deck, so you can basically hit almost anything with that. And in the green, I think you've got a 14 cost double green card as well, or even if you want if you want unplayable cards, yeah, highest you can go up to is like 14. If you want playable cards, the most of the things you're going to be playing are probably like up to 9. So you can potentially put in some cards just for that effect to be able to hit almost anything your opponent drops, which is really cool. But we don't do that now. So that is the leader, so very nice. So very late deploy, but we play them in green so we can get the ramp as well, so we kind of make use of the ramp, have like those resupplies and stuff, to make sure we can kind of deploy them a little bit quicker, and also have a good amount of healing between the blue aspect and the green aspects our leader base combo provides. And then with the base, like you can see, we've just gone with Topocity because I reckon it's a really nice art of the base, and we just want the 30 health base because there's no rare base that's going to benefit. You could go ECL, but I don't want to have the low health because it means I got a harder time against aggro, and I kind of want to avoid that. So that's a leader base. Now, without that over, now we're going to look at the list and see what we've got here. So, we'll start off with the low cost. We go with the units first, then we'll go on to the upgrades, and we'll go on to the events because we have all 3 of those types in a deck. So going for the deck cards you can play as early as turn 1. First of all, we've got our Restored Arc. So Restored Arc 170. We've also got some Patrolling V-Wing as well. We've also got Battlefield Marine. And lastly, we've got C3PO. Oh, C3PO. Yeah, C3PO. And these are turn 1 plays. Not all of them you want to kind of play turn 1, mainly like C3PO, or you still can play them, just you're then gambling on his effect, rather than having in the later turns after turn 1 where you can start potentially having more synergy with Yoda. So start from the left to the right. So Start Arc is a really nice one. Like they're all 2 costs, so they can all be played turn 1. But Restored Arc is a 2/3, pretty respectable stats for a space unit. Also has Restore 1, so whenever it attacks, it's healing damage in your base. So that's really nice to get that healing down to kind of survive a little bit longer. So it might take your opponent to do a lot more damage than just 30 health to defeat you, which is going to be annoying for them. And we play a full 3 copies because it's a very good one to start off turn 1. And in the Space Race, where not many cards are played, unless you're playing like a Space Heavy deck, it's going to be maybe a little bit harder to take out. But then again, it's just Space Focused decks. You've got something to help combat those. You also got Patrolling V-Wing as well. And this is one that you probably might be thinking, why put this in? It's not great. Like, it's a 2 cost, sure, so you can play it turn 1. Very low stats, so you can get pinged easily. But the nice thing I like about it is 2 things. First of all, it's a turn 1 card you can play out that will draw your card. Because when play draws your card, so you dig a little bit deeper to find its cards. Because normally what you want to do for this deck is mulligan for the ramp. So you can kind of start ramping and get Yoda out a little bit quicker, so you can have his effect earlier to deploy, take out something to help control the board, and then have him out as a big body that's swinging, doing some damage, and healing your base to keep that control. And the nice thing about it is the fact that he's very easy to ping because he's only got 1 health and 1 power is great for Yoda. Because remember, Yoda on his leader side, when he's in the leader area, has the effect to tap himself if a unit left play, which defeating a unit will trigger that, to then look at draw a card, then put any card from your hand on top of your deck or bottom of your deck. So Patrolling V-Wing being a card that digs deeper into your deck to kind of find what you're looking for, and also be a unit can be very easily pinged, even on turn 1, if they play a deck like Cad Bane or something that pings the damage or something, to basically be taken out a little bit easier, so that way you can then trigger potentially Yoda on turn 1. Because if you play out Patrol V-Wing and then they ping it to take it out, you've drawn a card, so you've not lost anything in your hand, and now you've triggered Yoda to kind of dig 2 cards deeper into your deck, which is very, very nice. So that's why it's in there. I would up it to 3, but I feel like if I have too many, it could kind of clog, and 2 seems absolutely fine. Then we've got Battlefield Marine. Now we want something good in the ground arena for the first turn plays as well. So you've got Battlefield Marine being a 2 cost 3/3. No skills, but then very strong stats for its costs. So very nice there. Like, it's been used very well in set 1, and it's still a good one to have even now turn 2, because there's not many cards that you could have. The I think I can't remember what the card's called now. Something Militia. Is like a Twilight card from the set 3 that has 2 power, 3 health, but then has raid 1. But you want Battlefield Marine because he's a lot stronger. Because he does the same thing as raid 1, but rather than being doing less damage when attacked into, he does the same damage when he's attacking or being attacked into. And then next one you have is C3PO. Then you've got 2 copies of the card. But I've got this and no R2D2 because this kind of synergizing a lot better with Yoda. Because, like I said, with Yoda's effect is to when a unit's defeated, you can draw a card and put a card either on top or bottom of your deck from your hand after that. So the nice thing about that is you can kind of mitigate Yoda's basically just like switching a card in your hand for a different card to being a +1 any time you can trigger it. Because C3PO's got a nice effect where when it's played or when it attacks, you can choose a number and then look at the top card of your deck. And if it's the same cost as the chosen number, you can reveal it and draw it, otherwise you leave it on top of your deck. But the nice thing about this is that if you do trigger Yoda for whatever reason, like something's defeated or removed, and you trigger Yoda to then draw a card and put something on top of your deck, you can then play out or attack with C3PO, and you can call it a number because you know what's on top of your deck because you use Yoda to do that. You can then go ahead and draw that card and basically +1 for that turn. And the nice thing about C3PO is it's not just on play, so you can get it instantly when it's played, but also you can get on attack, so you can do it more often than just that one-time use. It also is respectable with only 1 power but 4 health, so it's a bit bulky. And a nice one you can play turn 1, and even if you're looking for a certain card, say you don't have a turn 2 play because you have a free cost or less, or you're trying to dig for something, you can then play it out turn 1, and then name that cost of the card you want in the get, and you can actually get lucky here, or hit something with the same cost to basically gain cards, which is really nice. So those are our turn 1 plays. Remember, this list isn't exactly what I played on from my locals on Friday, but it is with that testing from them upgraded to what I would take, even though it wasn't exactly as I took that on Friday. Then for the next lot of cards, we've got a free cost, so the cards I can play as early as turn 2. We've got free Yoda, we've got free Peacekeeper, Centauri Peacekeeper, and 1 tech. So like Yoda and Centauri Peacekeeper are really nice because they both got Restore 2. So it means when they're attacking, they are healing 2 from your base, so giving a good amount of heal, meaning that a lot of time you're going to be swinging with things of healing, and your opponent's going to want to get rid of them rather than your base, or go for your base, and then these can just heal the damage, making it so they haven't really done much. A nice thing about them as well is that Yoda is one that replaces itself, because when he is defeated, when he's defeated, you can choose any number of players, your opponent and you. You can choose you can choose not your opponent but you, and then draw a card. So you can essentially replace himself in hand when he's defeated. And he's respectable with his 2 power and 4 health, and also he's a Jedi for upgrade, which we'll go over in a bit as well. So it's like our leader. Then you've got Centauri Peacekeeper. Now, he hasn't got the most amount of power in 1 power, but he has got a good amount of health of 5, so he can be quite bulky and quite resilient to stay on board. But the nice thing about it is he has Raid 2 along with that Restore 2, so when he's attacking, not only is he gaining healing 2 from your base, but he's also gaining 2 extra power when he attacks as well. And coming out as easy as turn 2 is really, really nice to have. And then we've got 1 copy of Tech. This is a nice one where you can have him out, and then he allows you to basically turn your resources into your second hand, so you have more options. And he's something you can always it's nice to have just a 1 copy of, because he's an easy resource target because he's got smuggle, so you can smuggle him out. And then he also allows you to give access to things you resourced earlier in the game to basically bring out. So if you actually have to resource a Luke earlier, you can potentially smuggle out a Luke later on from your resources, which is cool. It might cost 9, but he has an option to get that back. And also it just means that it's like normally when you put down a tech, it's normally a big target because your opponent thinks, I don't want them to have access to their resources as cards to play. So they're normally trying to take out tech and save your base or other units from being attacked into by being diverted to tech. So we've got 1 copy. So next we got our 4 cost plays. So our cards we can play as early as turn 3 onwards, and we've got 3 copies of Kanan and 2 copies of Bright Hope. So these are quite nice because Kanan is a very solid unit. A 4 cost 4/5 is very, very good to put down turn 3. Also a Jedi as well, so good for upgrade, and also offers some healing. Because this effect is when he attacks, you can choose up to 1 card from the defending player's deck, so your opponent's deck, for each friendly Spectre on the unit on the board. So you're normally going to hit just 1 when you play out 1 Spectre. And then you heal 1 damage from your base for each different aspect among discarded cards. So if there's a card like, say, Drawing V-Wing, which only has 1 aspect, you'll heal 1 damage from your base. But if a card like similar to Kanan, where he has 2 aspects, being like Vigilance and Heroism, you'll heal 2 from your base, which is pretty nice. So you can potentially be a Restore 1 or 2 when he swings, which is very cool. And you play 3 copies of him because he's a very good unit to have out, and just really nice in that. He offers healing, a Force unit, a Jedi, really nice there. And then we got 2 copies of Bright Hope, so they have a bit more in space to help with the defending, because with these space-focused decks, you kind of want to have a defense in that arena for them. And Bright Hope is one of our good space units to have there, because it's a very nice one at 4 cost, 2 6 stats, so it's very bulky and offers a good amount of power. Also Sentinel, so they have to go through it if they want to go to your Everspace units from your base. So they have they kind of defend your base very well, and they get that bulk to take quite a few attacks. And the nice thing about it as well is it can increase digging through your deck to kind of find what you're looking for and increase your hand size. But when it's played, you can return a friendly non-leader ground unit to its owner's hand, and if you do, draw a card. So say you've got on your board, say a C3PO, is almost dead, and you've kind of already swung or used it for its effect. You can now play Bright Hope, bounce it back to your hand, so it's back in your hand to play out back fresh, so you haven't lost it. And then you also draw a Never card, so you can dig through it, or bring back a Battlefield Marine, or a Standard Peacekeeper, or a Tech even, if that's like almost defeated, back to your hand, or even make use of some of your bigger ground units that you got out, so you can play them back out the turn after, and make use of their like when played and things like that. So very nice one. We only play 2 copies because it's 4 costs. We're not always going to play. We might be playing ramp or play other things, but it's a good option to have there if you want to. Then for our higher costing cards, we go straight from 4 to 610. So we've got 2 copies of Obi-Wan. So this is a nice one because it's also a Sentinel. So this is a Sentinel for the Ground Arena, and a nice beneficial one because it can give some extra boosts. Because it's 6 cost 4/6, so just like same amount of health as Bright Hope, but 2 more cost means 2 more power. Also is a Sentinel as well, and it's got a nice when defeated effect where you give 2 experience tokens to any ever friendly unit you control. But if it's a force unit, you also get to draw a card. So the minimum you do is give 2 experience to a unit, which would be nice. Like giving 2 experience to Yoda after he's deployed is very good, turning from a 4/9 to a 6/11, which is very strong. Or even any units, just giving them an extra 2/2 to the stats is cool. But if that unit you give it to is a force unit, so like a Yoda himself, the Yoda unit, Kanan, then you get to give it, you get to draw a card as well and dig through a little bit deeper, which is very nice. And what you mostly want to do is give to one of your force units because they're very powerful and become very useful because like they got restore, they got a good amount of power, and they get even bigger. And this is a nice one you can just chuck out to stop your opponent from going to any of your other units or your base. And then if it gets defeated, that's not a problem as long as you've got another unit on board to give the boost to and basically just benefit from that as well. So you then prevent some attacks to your base and other units and power up a unit when he's defeated as well and potentially draw a card. Then for our next unit, we've got 3 copies of Luke Skywalker. One of the reasons people want, one of the reasons to play blue, well, the good side of blue, so the heroic side of blue, and it's one of kind of staples which people might not play because they can't have access to this card because it's that stat great. Because it's a 7 cost 7/6 of Force and Jedi, and it's got restore 3, so when it's swinging, it's seeing 3 from your base, and when it's played, you can give an enemy unit -3/3 to the stats. But if a friendly unit was defeated this phase, you can give it -6/6 instead. So if you lost something in this phase that's been defeated, you can then minus even more, which is really cool. It gives a good amount of removal in that effect, and it's just great. Especially putting this and any upgrades onto it makes it huge, and it's a nice way to kind of not only just potentially clear something off board when it's played, but also have a big threat on board, and you can play this at the same time you deploy Yoda as well, which is amazing. So again, Luke out, then Yoda potentially popping something, minusing something, and then swinging with Yoda at least is really, really cool. And then for our 8 costs, we got a few. We have Reinforcement Walker, we have Redemption, and we also have Home 1. So these are all our big units and the last of our units as well. So, like I said, we're trying to focus on, we're trying to ramp because we want to try and get Yoda as early as possible. But we're focused on the end game. We have got stuff to help deal with and control and survive the early game to the late game. But in the late game, you want to be slamming down all these big units, basically just making it so your opponents have an issue with them all being on board and surviving as well, and just making them deal with them, plus also making it harder for them to take out your base because all these big units mostly going to heal in some way. So like we said, like Luke Skywalker, when he swings, he's restoring 3 from your base. We got Reinforcement Walker here, which is our ever big crown unit, which is 8 cost 6/9, so very big bulk, very high power, and whenever it's played or attacks, you can look top of your card of your deck, and you've got 2 options with this. You either draw it and keep it in your hand, so you've got more cards and more options, or you can discard that card if you don't want it, and then heal 3 damage in your base. So you're either going to discard that top card of your deck and heal, or you're going to just draw a card, essentially, which is really cool. And the longer that's on board, the more it's just getting new cards or healing you, and also swinging for quite a lot of power means it's dealing good damage to your opponent's base, or helping take out some of their things as well. So we've got 3 copies of that. We've also got 2 copies of each of Redemption and Home 1, and this is nice because they give you good options. They're both 8 costs, so they're quite high costing, but they both give you some pretty nice stuff in the Space Arena. Because Redemption is really cool in that it comes down, same stats as Reinforcement Walker, and same cost as well. But it's a sentinel, so it's a sentinel in space to force your opponent to go through it before it goes through any other units, and a stable sentinel as well. And also, when it's played, you can heal up to 8 damage total from either any number of your units and or bases, and then deal that much damage to itself. So the nice thing about this is where it's either your base or your units you can heal it off. I mean, you can either heal damage off units to make them so that are less likely, well, healed from damage, so less likely to be taken out, or off your base to basically just make it so you've got less damage on your base to survive a little bit longer. And the fact you've got the option of flexibility to do that is really nice in that you can, like, say, if you've got Yoda out, but he's taking some damage, but you want to keep it on board because he's got that Restore 2, or even Luke, you want to take some damage off it because he's got Restore 3. You can play Redemption, heal the damage off them up to 8, which is mostly all the damage on them, to then heal it, and then you don't have to do all 8, you can do it however you choose. So if you feel like it's going to be taken out, you don't want to be taken out by some weenie unit your opponent has a space, you can heal a little bit off the units and then have enough to kind of survive the attacks and stuff. So really cool. It's got good options, and that's why we've got two of them. You can always side more, play more, but like 2 feels nice because when you get to that point in the later game, it's going to be useful, but early game it's not going to be helpful. And sometimes you might be playing Reinforcement Walker instead, or Home 1 instead. And speaking of Home 1, it offers a little bit different, where it's got a little bit more power, but a little less health, because it's a 8 cost 7/7, so still pretty nice stats. And it's got Restore 2, so it is also healing 2 damage from your base whenever it swings, which is pretty cool. It also adds even more healing than most cards do by giving all other units you control Restore 1. So all other units you control, now when they attack, they're healing 1. So you can bring out Home 1, it has healing, and it gives everything else healing. So then, like, say, your leader now starts healing 3 instead of just 2. Luke Skywalker starts healing 4 instead of just 3. And anything that didn't feel like Battle for Arena, that's now healing 1 when it swings, which is amazing. Giving you even more healing to keep you in the game. And that's not just where it ends. You also have the when played effect as well, which allows you to play any heroic unit from your discard pile, and it costs 3 less, so making it cost 3 less on its cost. So that means any of these top row here with the heroic trait, because you can play it has to be a heroic unit you play. So Restored Arc, Battlefield Marine, C3PO, Yoda, Centauri Peacekeeper, and Tech can all be played for absolutely free. Come out for free, so you get essentially 11 cost of unit for free. Well, you get 11 cost of units, 2 units up to the cost of 11 for 8 costs, which is really cool. Good value for your resources. And then if you do want to play, you can still play things higher like Kanan, Bright Hope, Obi-Wan, Luke Skywalker, and Redemption and stuff. But you do have to pay more resources, so you have to pay a little bit more on top. But if you've got the resources to do it, you can do so. So basically, Home 1, if you want to pay 12, you can play Home 1 and a Luke Skywalker in one turn. If you play, well, in one action, if you pay 12 for it, because you can pay 8 for the Home 1, and then Luke's now reduced by 3 if you want to play it, so it costs 4 now from this play from the discard. So you've got 12 resources, you can go Home 1 playing a Luke, which is pretty cool. And this is one I did have sideboarded, but I bought it in mostly every game because it's just that useful to just basically increase the board, especially when you get that late in the game. You can chuck it down, increase your board by adding more things, so never space unit in either Restored Arc or Bright Hope, because then Bright Hope can also protect Home 1 from being attacked into as well, or bring out like a Centauri Peacekeeper, Yoda, or Tech on board. To basically just have another unit play, or even, like I said, that Home 1 and Luke Skywalker, or even a Home 1 Obi-Wan Kenobi for 11, which is cool. So those are all the units, and you see a majority of heroic units that go well with Home 1, and also just a lot of good units early games, so we can then go ahead and kind of manage the ball a little easy and also heal and get some benefits from that. And then also like late game units managing like helping you take control and last late game. So now we got out of the way, let's go and have a look and see what upgrades we've got and see what benefits they provide. So with the upgrades, there's only one. I was going to put in more, but I just couldn't really find space, and I thought I'd just stick with just the one, and that is General's Blade Line. The nice thing with this leader-based combination is you got some pretty good upgrades for the heroic side of blue and green, because you've got Jedi Lightsaber, which is a good one, which any Force unit can get the full benefit of by having free cost, free feature stats. And then when it swings, minus whatever you're attacking into, being a non-base unit, minus 2/2 to its stats. You've got Perilous Position being a very nice upgrade that can rest anything it's equipped to, and you give that unit minus 2/2 to stats. You've got other upgrades like Entrenched, Devotion, things like that. You've got some pretty good upgrades in this aspect-based combination. But what I've gone for this one, and the reason why I want to play Yoda with green, is because you get access to General's Blade. Now this is just like Jedi Lightsaber, it's a free cost upgrade that gives an extra free power and free health to a unit. And it can be attached to a vehicle, sadly, but because they can't wield blades. But if the attached unit is a Jedi, it gives it the new effect of when on attack, the next unit you would play this phase costs 2 less. And that's absolutely amazing. And there are a fair few units you can put on. You can put General's Blade on Yoda, the Yoda, either Yoda leader or Yoda unit, because they're both Jedi. So you get a benefit then, free to stats, turn your leader from a 4-9 to a 7-12, or your free cost Yoda unit to a 5-7, or even Kanan, turn him from a 4-5 to a 7-8. Or you can even put your bigger units like Obi-Wan and Luke Skywalker, turn Obi-Wan into a 7-9 and Luke into a 9-10, which is a massive boost. A massive boost. Anyone you can boost. And any time they attack then, they reduce the next thing you play by 2. And last thing you can put on leaders, you can deploy leader, deploy Yoda, get his effect off, pop stuff, like potentially take something out, throw a General's Blade on it. Now he can swing, and now you can play potentially play an Obi-Wan that same turn. So you getting the use of 9 resources rather than just 7. And then if Yoda survives turn, which I hopefully will with that amount of power and bulk, he can now next to swing again. And now if you've gone then now on 8 resources, you can then go ahead and play up something up to 10. So you can essentially play when your 8 drops here, your Reinforcement Walker Redemption at home 1, and also play a 2 drop the same turn as well. Or even then just go potentially home 1. Play it now for 6. You've got 2 extra resources to play. You're playing out something for a little bit less. You can potentially play out either one of those units for free and then play a 2 cost, or play something like Kanan out, or Bright Hope as well, which is really cool. So like adding these, and the more these General's Blades you put on a unit, the more they reduce because they stack. So say if you held off 2 General's Blades, and then you deployed Yoda, and then both of them on your lead, turn them from a 4-9 to a 10-15. He's now swinging for 10, healing 2 from your base, and making the next card you play cost 4 less. So you can then go ahead and play a Kate, like anything like lower than Obi-Wan for free, which is really cool. Or even playing out in a Luke for free cost, any of these 8 drops for a 4, giving a huge benefit. Like the more you can put these on, and it's just, I love this card, and I want to use it. And there's a nice thing about having more Jedi leaders in this game, and you've got more leaders that can come down without costing resources to play a unit on board. Equip this to them, make them a lot stronger, because the leader units, they're harder to take out, and then just getting that, playing bigger things for cheap. Like I've had it where I've managed to play out the next turn after deploying like a Quinlan, get a Reinforcement Walker out the next turn on 6 resources, which is really, really cool. But in Yoda, you got a very good benefit. It turned a lot harder to kill as well, because he's got a good amount of bulk at 9. So it's 12 health. It's going to be even harder to kill, or your opponent's going to be throwing a lot of things in just to take him out. So that's the upgrade. We play 4 free copies of it because it's just that great a card, and even, as long as you see 1 when you deploy Yoda, huge benefit and huge turn for that turn. So that is the upgrades. Now we're going to check out the rest of them, which are our events. So starting off with the first event, we've got 1 copy of Timely Invention. I do want to put in more copies of this, but I felt instead of 2 copies, because where you got some big things, you got like some small things that I'm going to make do the best. Like 1's kind of enough when you kind of need to use it. I was tempted to drop tech to put in a second one, but I felt like tech could also be beneficial. And I got 1-1 between these two, a split of 1-1, so you can potentially take out tech and put in a second one, or just not have Timely Invention if you don't have a second tech, so you can then make use of your resources and stuff. But it's a really nice one because then you can potentially ambush stuff out, and when you're ramping, you potentially can ramp up enough to then be able to do some nice things like using Timely Invention to bring out a Reinforcement Walker, either by smuggling it or by playing it from your hand, to then get both his effective twice, because it's 1 blade and on attack. And since you're playing it and attacking it with ambush, thanks to Timely Invention, you can then potentially heal 6 while swinging with Reinforcement Walker, or draw 2 cards, or a combination of either. Or even say like home 1, have home 1 come down, attack the same turn, and play out something for free as well. So he gets a restore, bring out something on board, or even redemption. Go ahead and ambush it, take out a unit by then healing 8 damage off your base or other units, and then ram and take something out, and then be killed because it'd be on 1 health by then. It's really nice. Or even Timely Invention out, Obi-Wan, come down, swing at something, potentially take it out or crash, and then, or take something out and then be there ready to be taken out by your opponent's attack, and then boost something else. It's really cool. Really nice combinations. But I feel 1 is alright for now. Then we've got 3 copies of resupply. Because, of course, we can't have that because we've got playing green for ramp anyway. Playing for ramp and for General's Blade because it's just very beneficial. So we want to try and get Yoda out a little bit quicker. So resupply is a nice one, and we've got things to kind of dig for it, like mulliganing for it, patrolling viewing to kind of draw further in to try and find it, see if we'll be able to find it, and even Yoda's affect himself to try and dig deeper in to find resupply. So we've got 4 free copies because as soon as you get 1, it just means it's coming out 1 turn early, and if you can get 2, that's amazing. You drop it off the same time as soon as say Quinlan Voss comes out or Boss comes out on 5 resources instead. Well, the turn when they hit 5 resources instead. Then we've got 3 copies of You're My Only Hope. So this is essentially a better version, only with Yoda. I would say that only with Yoda, it's a better version of Now There Are Two of Them. Because Now There Are Two of Them is one of the best legendaries from set 3 that allows you to play something a little bit earlier, but under restrictions. So Now There Are Two of Them requires you to have only one unit on board, and you can play a unit with the same trait from your hand that costs 5 less. So you're using 2 cards without something bigger from your hand, cheaper, which is really cool. And having that as a play for turn 2 is amazing if you can pull it off. And You're My Only Hope is a similar version of that, just a little bit less, likewise a little bit less setup than that. But it's based, in any other deck, it's focused on the top deck. And since you don't really want to rely on your top deck, potentially hitting something that's either too strong so you can't play it, or hitting something that's too low so you're basically wasting it, is not great. But with Yoda's effect to essentially control what you've got on top of your deck, it works perfectly with it because you can always use Yoda's setup and make use of it, giving you easier ways to use it. And because it doesn't cost 2 cards from hand, because Yoda's going to be drawing a card and drawing a card, then putting a card on top of your deck to set up for it. You're going to know what's on your top of your deck, thanks to Yoda, and you're also not using 2 copies of cards from your hand, using 1 because you're playing the card from the top of your deck. Because what You're My Only Hope is, if you haven't played since turn set 1, is a free cost event that looks at the top card of your deck, and you can play it. It costs 5 less for the turn. It costs 5 less to play. And if your base has 5 or less remaining HP, you can play it for free instead. So a really nice thing about that is, one, you can play out a Luke on 5 resources from the top of your deck. So use Yoda, draw a card, put Luke on top of your deck, and then play out. You play You're My Only Hope, play a Luke. You can play a Luke. It costs 5 less. It costs only 2, and then you pay 2 extra resources to then play out a Luke on 5 resources. Another nice thing to do is if you're on say 25 health, so you're 5 less remaining, you can now play the top card of your deck for free. So if you then hit a redemption, you can play a redemption for free. So you're playing a redemption for free resources instead of because you're playing the event effect. You're playing the cost for the event, and then redemption can then take 8 damage off your base and put on himself. So you're even better healed up, and you've played it out for free resources. Really cool. So really nice combination, and it is in Yoda, only in Yoda really, a better Now There Are Two of Them that requires less setup, less cards from hand. Well, yeah, no, not less setup, but less cards in hand, and it's easier to set up. And then you've got 2 copies of Takedown. So you've got Takedown to help deal with the smaller units, the units that have lower health, so take those straight out. Very nice event. And you've got Fellow Dragon, the new kind of opposite way, the other way of doing it, by taking out something higher power, with 5 or more power, but can hit leaders. And then you've got 2 copies of The Force With Me. Because since we've got a fair few Force units, you can get the full benefit of this by giving it a shield, not just the experience in attacking with it. And it's really nice where if you say you got a unit out, so you say you play a Yoda turn 2, and it's there, you can then use the Force With Me, swing with it, make you even stronger at 4-6, and then he's got a shield, meaning you can take out something, attack into something else, take no damage by losing the shield instead. Or swing to your burn space, and now he's got a shield, so they've got to pop the shield, and then take him out, and he's even powerful at 4-6, and it goes for anyone as well. Like using it on a Luke Skywalker the turn after you played it, turning him from a 6-7 to an 8-9, that then has a shield and is attacking straight away to heal damage off your base, and be even stronger now, or even use it on your leader as well, which is beneficial. The nice thing about it is the only benefit you get from having a Force unit is the shield. So you're always guaranteed to get the swing and 2 experience on it as well, which is very, very cool. Now you can, with the events, you can potentially, like I said, eventually choose if you want to have just no tech or 2 techs, or no tech or no time invention or 2 invention, depending. These are flexible to go with. And then Forces With Me is also, you can switch out. I don't have Rivals Fought in the main, but in the side, which we'll see in a bit, because it's very highly costly. You can potentially take out leader units using other effects, like Luke Skywalker come down and minus it, or just attack to Yoda after you've equipped it with a General's Blade and things like that. So leaders aren't too much of an issue that you need Rivals for, but if you want to put it in it, you can always side it, which I do. And I feel like for the events, Your Only Hope and Resupply are like guaranteed for this because Your Only Hope is it's a very good card, thanks to Yoda to play. Like very good way to play. Like the best way to play it that was Yoda, and Resupply is a good way to ramp. And then you can adjust the quantities of takedown and Felder Dragon, which I feel like are fine as they are, like 2/2, but you can always adjust if you want more of one, more left, and less the other, vice versa. And Forces With Me is one you can kind of switch up as well if you want to and play something maybe a little bit different. Like say if you wanted to as well, you can potentially, since you need, for Yoda's effect, you need a unit to leave play, and you can always trigger yours by ramming yours and your opponents that suicide them. You can also play not Spark of Hope. Might be Hope, I think. It's something Hope. Yeah, it might be Spark of Hope, which is like a 2-cost event that allows you to choose a unit in your discard pile that's defeated this phase and put in player's resource. It's a 2-cost event. Requires a little more setup, but you can make it easier with Yoda. Let's say if you play a Patrolling V-Wing, it gives you an extra 3 copies of a ramp card, so you got Resupply and that. And say if you play a Patrolling V-Wing, which is a very weak card, and it comes to draws your card, and the next turn you ram into your opponent's space unit because they've got a space unit, it gets taken out. You can then use that to ramp into resources and do a little bit cheaper as well with that. So that's what you can always like add in if you want to. But that is the main, and we'll go over the side now. But remember, with the side deck, it's all dependent on yourself, the player, or playing the deck, or the pilot of the deck. There's also dependent on your meta or any big event you're going to, what like the kind of meta game is like. So do bear that in mind when it comes to the side deck. So here we got the side deck. I got 6 cards in the side, so 6 cards to switch out. And the first one we've got is Village Protectors, so 2 of those. And these ones you can put in to kind of, if you want more Sentinels, like cheaper Sentinels to help with aggro, you can help that for the ground arena. Now, what I normally switch out for this is potentially maybe Tech if you feel like you need Tech or something else, or take out the 2 C3PO if you feel like it's not going to be as useful in that situation, because you'll still have some turn 1 plays in Restored Arc, Patron V-Wing, and what's the other one? Battlefield Marine. Or you can take it as Patron V-Wing if you feel like that won't be as useful, like it's going to be not as great, you don't want it in there. You can always take out either Patron V-Wing or C3PO, which will never be more beneficial in that matchup for 2 of these. So you've got that as well to help with the ground arena and defend it a little bit easier. I've also got 2 copies of Modded Cohort. This could be an easy way to kind of control board and help deal with it. Where if, like, say you're playing a turn 1 play and a turn 2 play, and then turn 3, if you've got, let's say, Initiative, you can play this out. Because it's a swing for 4, because it's got Raid 2 and Ambush as well. To kind of come down, take out something to help you control the board a little bit easier, which is not something you have much of in the Heroic side. So I've got 2 copies of those, which you can potentially take out the like same kind of cards. So you can put this in and help manage the board a little bit easier against the aggro decks. I did have this in my sideboard, but I wish I kind of did now. And we've got 3 copies of Paradise Position. Like not all, like some decks might be where this is not going to be useful for the matchup. Like say the General's Blade isn't something you can really, where you're not having the greatest time in like the first game, I'll be able to equip it to a unit and keep it on the unit. So you can potentially switch out the General's Blade if you feel they're not going to be useful, or the benefits not going to be that great. But for a Paradise Position, if you think it's going to be more useful, be able to not only just exhaust the unit by equipping this to it, but also minus the stats, so a little bit easier to kill. Or if you're playing against decks to have, say, the fight at the space unit, the villainy space unit that can't be captured, damaged, or defeated by effects, you can then use this on it to minus it and kill it, and also, or even just rest if they do boost it and stuff like that. So you can play 3/3, switch out 3/3, so that's what we got it in. So you can just check out all the General's Blades for all of these, or switch out some other cards for it if you want to. Also got 1 copy of Restocks. If you're playing against those like high control decks, you've got a way to kind of deal with them a bit, because you've got all the draw and control, that removal stuff, and if it comes to deck out where they can't kill you because you've got all that healing and stuff like that, then you can use Restock as a way to keep in the game to prevent them from decking you out, and keep recycling those good cards like itself and your other cards you want to then basically just out control them if you want to. And then we've got extra copy of Velvet Dragon, so against those decks that have the bigger units, like if you put decks that come in with like the like Devastator, like Avenger, Crate Dragon, things like that, you can have more copies of this to put in, take those out, so that way where target out, takedown might be not hitting the right stuff, Velvet Dragon can be switched in to potentially do that as well, and also a copy of Valve's Fault if you need removal. So like if you feel like the Forces With Me isn't going to be much beneficial, then you can switch both the copies of the Forces With Me out for an extra copy of Velvet Dragon and Rival's Fall, so you can go and take out those units a little bit easier and have more removal for them as well. So like this side deck's built more to have these first 3 to kind of deal a bit more with the aggro decks that kind of hold off to survive until the later thing, where you can then grind them out and basically just overpower them. And with the Era 3 being more for control decks to help deal with those other units, and even Paris position could be in for Genos Blades, you can then start resting things and making it things a little bit weaker, so you can take them out a little bit easier as well. So that's it for the deck. That is, as I said, is not the exact list I played on Friday, but then since I've played it, I've amended it, and this is how I'll play it going forward, and we'll be playing it going forward. I'll try to get some gameplay as well, because once again, if you didn't see my post about it from I think yesterday, it might have been, or sometime on the weekend, I wasn't able to record my games because I didn't charge my phone up enough, and I didn't have enough battery on my phone to record games and still get home. So I didn't record any games, but I would love to, because some of the games are actually pretty fun, pretty good. So I ended up playing a Quinlan Voss in, what was it? I ended up playing Quinlan Voss Attack on turn one on round 1, which I won 2-0, and then I played against a Mole Green, which I ended up winning. Like, came a very, very close game. Came down to time, and we managed to just finish playing the game before time kicked in to give us a draw. And I won that 2-1. Just like we managed to just get that in. But I got stomped the first game, and then managed to bring it back to the other two. And then I played against another Quinlan Target Town. My deck, my build of the deck that I gave to my buddy Biscuit, so he could try it out because he was interested in trying it out. So I built it so he can try it out. And I ended up winning that 2-1 because I got stopped the first game because all the hand control in it, making it so I had very little options where he just controlled and basically just whittled my hand down so I couldn't do much, and then basically just took me out after that. And he managed to have less of it in the next two games, and I managed to outpace him, which is cool. And I lost in the finals 0-2 to Double Cunning Hand because my openings weren't the best, and my deck kind of crapped out me a little bit, and I just got aggroed down too hard. But yeah, that is the deck. So if you have any suggestions or questions about the deck, feel free to leave them in the comments below. And also remember to like the video if you do enjoy my deck of the weeks or my deck profiles. And also don't forget to subscribe to keep updated with my videos and keep so you can then basically be notified of my videos or see my videos when they do drop. So I do quite a few a week. Try to get like at least 3 to 4 videos a week. Trying different things like gameplay, deck profiles, to discussions, or even like handy dandy how to play guides if you want to look and play a leader and play them. So that's it for today. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next one. Bye for now.